Random J Productions presents the Palm Summer League. Tonight, we come to the Minnesota Motorsports Park in Canyon Falls for the final race this summer, the T-Mobile Summer Finale. With this sold-out crowd in hand, 35 of racing's best drivers are all lined up on pit road as we're just moments away for deciding the newest channel champion. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Josh, your commentator for tonight's race. And for the second year in a row, we have at last come to this fan-favorite intermediate to decide our Palm Summer League champion for 2024. With the addition of 2 new races and 4 new tracks, it has proven to be a summer filled with exciting and unpredictable moments. But of course, all of those rules lead to tonight's race, where we see all of our storylines from this summer all come to a head. Now, one storyline from this summer that has taken the world by surprise was the rise of perhaps one of the most impressive rookies we've ever seen on this channel, that being, of course, the 18 of Bubble Pop. The BM Racing driver won in just her second channel start at Las Vegas and has been a threat to win in just about every race we've had this summer. Now, even though Bubble has maintained the points lead since her Las Vegas win back in June, the driver going into this race second in the standings is just 2 points back, with that driver being none other than the 61 of Jordan Forbes. This is the third straight summer Forbes has been in contention for a championship, but this year might just be his best shot yet. In addition to his past experience here at Minnesota, Forbes also has 2 PSO wins at past heavy superspeedways, including this year's Firecracker 400, which ended up being the closest finish in channel history. Then there's one driver who I feel like is flying underneath many people's radars, that being another PSO rookie, Riley Spurley in the 28, who comes into this race just 9 points back from the points leader. Just like Bubble and Forbes, Spurley also has 3 top 10s on the year, and is in a great position to pounce for the championship if Bubble and or Forbes have some type of development during the race. As for fourth in points, well, we have a 3-way tie going into the night's race, but the driver who has the tiebreaker is the 31 of Roberto Crown Jr., who's coming off 3 straight top 5 finishes the last 2 races, as well as the RC Motorsports equipment capable of winning the championship. There's also former Golf Summer Series champion Anthony Hernandez, who's not only back in PSL championship contention for the second year in a row, but he's a driver with past experience of winning when it matters the most, but he's also a driver with past experience of winning when it matters the most, as well as having the most amount of bonus points from the duels out of anyone inside the top 10. And finally, there's yet another PSO rookie, the 99 of Alex Sandovala. The reigning Madhouse Classic winner impressed many during his first 3 channel appearances during the Triple Winner Challenge and has lived up to the expectations in his first summer series, and potentially stealing both the championship and or the Rookie of the Year from the other rookies of Bubble and Spurley could catch the eyes of some of these current or even future team owners. Even though I just mentioned the top 6 in points, drivers first to 19th in the points all have a shot of winning the championship here tonight, with many big name drivers among those in the hunt. But before the short to be exciting night gets underway, we need to first take a look at our starting lineup and pre-race ceremonies for the final race here in the summer of 2024. So on the pole is the reigning Father's Day Classic winner, Ross McTrain in the 45, and next to him, the 29 is Skylar Taylor. We got 2 Railfan teammates at row number 2, Lipsy in the 9, who's won here back in the Golf Summer Series in 2022, and next to him, the 6 of Bradley Ream. Row 3, Matthew Hill in the 90, and Braden Carruthers in the 20. We got 2 rookies at row number 4, Jack Haas in the 57, and Madison Chase in the 06. Another pair of rookies are number 5, this being Kyle Sushine to 19, and championship contender Riley Spurley, who of course came to this race just 9 points back from the points leader. Row 6, Patrick Miller in the 33, and Jose Angel Gutierrez in the 79. Row 7, Jason Albert in 84, and Jordan Forbes, who of course came to this race second in points, just 2 back from Bubble. Row 8, Alex Mullen in the 1, and Kellen Baker in the 21. We got another championship contender, row number 9, Roberto Crown Jr. in the 31, and Jordan Stout in the 11. Row 10, Ryan Wilson in the 48, and the 8 car, Joe T. Row 11, Daniel Voiles in the 01, and defending PSL champion, Brendan Beal, who definitely has his work cut out for him here tonight if he wants to defend that championship. Row 12, last year's runner-up Nick Sand in the 40, and the 53 Random J. Row 13, Nathan Stapleton in the 97, and Johnny Hernandez fresh off his Paris win and looking to finish inside the top 10 in the point standings. Row 14, Minnesota native Dylan Matthews in the 49, and next to her, Dan Mattiel in the 17. We got an all-Dodge row number 15, Philip Torres in the 41, and next to him, championship contender Alex Sandovala in the 99. Row 16, Caleb Rose, who won this race last year, and next to him, the 2 of Matthew Burnett. Row 17, the current points leader Bubba Pop in the 18, and Keyshawn Richardson, the 24. And finally, row number 18, the 2021 Golf Summer Series champion, as well as another championship contender here tonight, the 88 car of Anthony Hernandez. Of course, a little bit earlier I mentioned some of the notable drivers that are in contention for this championship. And before we get things underway, let's have a brief chat with one of them that just so happens to be in a hot streak of great finishes recently. Hey, Roberto Crown, Josh up in the booth, got a copy?
Yep, I got you clear here.
Hey man, you're coming off 3 straight top 5 finishes. You're up in you're tied for 4th in points right now going into the night. How are you feeling about the car? How are you feeling about your chances here tonight?
I'm feeling very anxious. I'm not sure if the car is going to be perfect enough to even secure me a top 5 or hell, even a top 10 position in the points. But we'll have to just see as soon as the race starts.
Alright man, good luck out there, have fun. It's going to be a wild night, I'm pretty sure.
Thanks man, and hopefully you enjoy the show we put on.
And now it's time for a pre-race ceremony, starting with our national anthem. And now, for the final time here this summer in the Palm Summer League, it is time for the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well, let's take a look at the track info here for tonight's race. So I'm going to go 60 laps on this roughly mile-long quad oval with 23 degrees of banking in the corners. And as for the weather here tonight in Canyon Falls, 58 degrees Fahrenheit with 8 miles per hour towards the southeast. And there's your past Minnesota winners, Whoopsie in 2022 during the Golf Summer Series, as well as teammate Caleb Rose during last year's summer finale in 2023 for the PSL. So far it's been a real fan sweep here at Minnesota. But here we go. This sold-out crowd is all on their feet with the pace truck down pit road as the summer finale is underway here in Minnesota. Good start for the inside lane, particularly McTrain and Lipsy off turn number 2. While Skylar Taylor's going to be 3 wide of Brandon Reed and Matthew Hill down the back into turn number 3. And already in the 4, here's Lipsy looking to the inside of McTrain for the lead. Matthew Hill now up to 3rd behind Lipsy, with Jack Haas now side by side with Lipsy for 2nd. But through turns 1 and 2, once again McTrain holds on with the lead. Lipsy still holds on to 2nd, with Jack Haas remains side by side with Matthew Hill for 3rd. And of course, behind his winner, you see instances of 3 wide, almost 4 wide, which is what makes Minnesota very special compared to mile-long tracks on the schedule. And speaking of 4 wide, you see Brandon Carter and Jason Albert Nero making contact off turn number 4, with Madison Chase maintaining the outside and Alex Mullen maintaining the inside coming to lap number 3. A little bit further behind, see another instance of 4 wide, Nick Sant and Jose Angel Gutierrez stuck in the middle. Riley Spurley falling back into 28 on the outside. He's of course one of those championship drivers, and also very early, definitely not a good time to fall back in the field. You know, speaking of championships, see Jordan Forbes in the 6-2-1 also back here. Roberto, Crown, Bubble, and Anthony Hernandez all done a really solid job so far making their way up through the field. And looking at the points on the left side of your screen, Bubble still maintains the lead. Matthew Hill now up to second, points behind by 8. Jordan Forrest now behind by 10. McTrain behind by 12. While Riley Spur and Roberto Crown are 15 and 16 back respectively. Our Santa Vala is 23 points back as things currently stand. Meanwhile, up front, we got a battle for the lead, heating up with Jack Koss and Kyler Sustry coming to lap number 5 as they're going to make a 3-wide on Ross McTrain into turn number 1. As the two rookies are going to force the 45 up high. Sustry backs off on the inside, but Jack Koss is still full steam ahead off turn number 2. Looks like into 3, Haas will complete the pass to McTrain to have a first lead chance of the night. As McTrain remains stuck on the outside, moves a lot of ground over to 57, and could potentially lose the top 5 here off turn number 4, as he's stuck in an absolute mess coming to lap number 6. You see some other drivers making their way up through the field, including Patrick Milner 33, as he's side by side of Kyle Sustry for second. Jason Albert 84 also continuing his march to the front, as well as Dylan Matthews at 49, who of course is a Minnesota native. And now through turns 3 and 4, Matthews is going to make a 3-wide on Albert and McTrain as the 45 continues to his ground, coming to lap number 7. Jack Koss still leading the way. Miller and Sustry are still side by side for second, with Albert Lumen behind both of them, as McTrain continues to fall back, trying to hold off the 0-1 of Daniel Voiles there to keep his place inside the top 5. Once again, already 3 wide for the lead through turns 3 and 4, with Haas up high, and Sustry near making contact with Albert as the rider's going to lead out number 7. Despite Albert leading that time by, these 3 remain 3 wide for the lead through turns 1 and 2, with Sustry having the advantage in the middle before Albert gets a strong run off for turn number 2. But it looks like Albert is not going to make it stick, unfortunately, down the back straight. He'll be side by side with Haas for second. Meanwhile, a little bit further back to the field, see Lipsy, who of course won the Golf Summer Series race here in 2022, making his way up through the front, as he's currently side by side of Kellen Baker. As for some of the championship contenders, Riley Spurley is still towards the back of the pack, trying to regain some type of ground here, and unfortunately the other championship contenders also struggling. Bubble lost a lot of ground in the 18 that time by, so as Alex Santavallo, Jordan Forbes, and even Roberto Crown Jr., who's currently scored in 35th, aka the last car on track. But of course, as I said, these positions are going to quickly change, as they're still not even 1/4 of the way done with this race. Now, as for some of their non-championship drivers up in here, see 79 Gutierrez, Random J also back here, Matthew Burnett, Stout, as many of these drivers still 2, even 3 wide that time by, going into turn number 3. But once again, making their way back into the front, you see Jason Albert still leading in 84, Dylan Matthews in the 40 and up the seconds. Whoa! Matthews nearly wrecked Albert off before that time by. That was a great save with the Channel veteran into turn number 1, but he gets in the grass a little bit, and it goes a lot of ground, and here's Jack Koss and Kyle Sustry fast approaching off turn number 2. Meanwhile, on the left side of the screen, the championship points, Riley Spurley with the championship lead. Jordan Forrest back by 3, but just Albert, who of course is right up in the front, is behind by 7. But as I said, Albert's now 4 wide for second, coming to lap number 12, with Matthews winning the way as these drivers still remain 4 wide through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Mattia got in the grass a little bit, but with Haas and Albert get strong runs on the outside, as off for turn number 2, Albert goes back to the lead here in Minnesota. And as we're on board with Dylan Matthews down the back straight and into turn number 3, she's trying to maintain at least second over Haas, as she will do just that, but here comes a strong run from the 49 off for turn number 4, as she's once again going to be side by side for the lead. Meanwhile, Jordan Forrest is 5 wide coming to lap number 13. This is a potentially very, very scary position here for Forrest as he makes contact with Joe T, as both of them go off the track but manage to save it. Definitely a very, very scary instance for one of your championship favorites here tonight. But Forrest will live the fight on as this racing and championship battle will surely continue to get even crazier as you come to lap number 14. And speaking of Forbes, he's going to be 3 wide of fellow championship contender Anthony Hernandez, as well as Kellen Baker. We're falling back on the inside. But as things stand now, most of the championship favorites are towards the middle, if not the back of the pack. And that's the case for both Bubble Pop, Alex Santavala, Jordan Forbes towards the middle of the pack. Same thing Roberto Crown and Anthony Hernandez as we come to lap number 15. And just a bit further ahead, you see Riley Spurley, who of course early in this race was stuck in the outside lane for quite some time, but now he's passing cars left and right, including going 4 wide through turns 3 and 4 that time by. So Spurley definitely making his presence known here in the summer finale as we come to lap number 16 with Dylan Matthews still leading, but here's Brad Green side by side with the 49. Looks like Dylan's going to maintain the advantage into turn number 1, but here's Dan Mattiello, of course Bradley's affiliate teammate, also saw this picture as well. Speaking of Spurley, so far he continues to maintain the point lead, but Jordan Forrest is just 2 points behind him, with Bubble 9 points back, and Matthews now 19 back, actually tied with Bradley Ream last time by. And speaking of Bradley, he's under pressure from his own teammate Caleb Rose coming to lap number 17. Of course, Rose won this race last year, while second place happened to be his own teammate as well as the eventual champion from last year, Brendan Beal in the 37, who, speaking of which, is also making his way up through the field, currently side by side with Philip Torres for 7th, while Riley Spurley continues to march his way up through the field, trying to run Keyshawn Richardson to get back inside the top 10, while Jordan Forbes is now inside the top 15 in the 61. Meanwhile, Anthony Hernandez once again moved up nicely in the 88, as well as Bubble Pop in the 18, until she lost some ground there that time by. Anthony currently side by side with the pole sitter Ross McTreen, who's lost a lot of ground since the start of this race and falling back on the outside lane. And as for Bubble, well, she's in a huge mess now into turns 3 and 4 this time by her 3-wide right in front of her. Alex hit the Vala, also forced her 3-wide briefly there. Another driver up towards the points is also Johnny Hernandez in the 46, of course, fresh off his Paris win. He's also trying to crack his way inside the top 10 as he tries to challenge Keyshawn Richardson for the final top 10 spot. Meanwhile, Spurley continues to move up steadily, while the pro rookie Jack Cross continues to lose some ground after contending for the lead not too long ago. We're back towards the front, where race leader Albert's now being challenged by Daniel Voiles off turn number 4, while Rose in 3rd and Matthews in the 4th, coming to lap number 20, as these two orange and blue cars remain side by side into turn number 1, with Rose forcing Albert to the high side of the track, as the 59 maintains the middle off turn number 2, as Voiles throws a rather aggressive block on Rose into turn number 3. But Rose and Cook will respond, forcing Voiles to the outside, as Voiles' own teammate of Matthews is going to follow Rose, coming to lap number 21. And as the 01 and 59 remain side by side, do turns 1 and 2 for the lead. See Jordan Forbes now just 1 point back from Spurley. But looks like into 3, Rose is going to have the advantage over both the Motorsport drivers, while Matt Thiel and Haas also inserting themselves back inside this picture. But as I say that, it was Matthews now looking to the inside of Rose, and cleared the 59 easily off turn number 4, as behind the top 2 were 3 wide for 3rd. And there you see the father and son duo of Johnny and Anthony Hernandez making their way up to the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Of course, both Hernandez racing drivers came into this race inside the top 10 in the points, with Anthony coming to this race tied for 4th in points, behind by 18. While Johnny came to this race 9th in points, behind by 30. But regardless, both drivers very much have a shot to win the championship here tonight. But of course, anything can happen, and I just still have ways to go. But once again, back into the very front, Jack Haas is going to clear Matt Thiel for 2nd off turn number 2. With Jason Albert now back inside this picture in the 84, and Brendan Beal in the 37 alongside with him. But again, through turns 3 and 4, the inside is going to get a great run of Haas, Cook, Matthews of ease, as well as Jason Albert and Brendan Beal. As coming to the front, the rookie Jack Haas will come to lap number 23. Once again, we're 3 wide into 1 of Taylor on the outside, Anthony in the middle, while Rose is on the outside. And the same does also hold true for 3 of these Dodges, Philip Torres, Jordan Forbes, and the 97 Nathan Stapleton. As of course, Forbes is continuing to try to move up to the field. Meanwhile, Riley Spurley, who was in the top 10 not too long ago, is now back relegated towards the mid-teens, with Alex Santavala now side by side up to 28. As of course, Santavala was one of those 3 drivers, and a 3-wide tie for 18, for the other 2 being Anthony Hernandez and Roberto Crown Jr. And over 4 once again, do turns 1 and 2, Skywood Taylor touching the grass there a little bit, but they managed to keep it straight. Hernandez, Rose, and Matt Thiel remain 3 wide off turn number 2. Once again, another lead change as defending PSL champion Brendan Beal is on top of the board here in Minnesota, but Anthony Hernandez may have something to say about that, as these 2 champions are going to be side by side for the lead coming to lap number 26. Anthony got a really strong run off turn number 4 that time by. He's going to try to continue that momentum through turns 1 and 2. And despite Beal getting a strong run initially on the outside, Anthony's going to clear the reigning PSL champion of ease down the back straight away. With Anthony winning his first lap here tonight, this is sure going to shake up the rest of the championship standings, and we'll see what's going to happen here coming to lap number 27. And there you see driver 88 just 3 points back from Forbes, who just cracked the top 10 in the 61. Meanwhile, as for the other championship drivers, Bubble Pop is minus 13, Spurley's minus 18, Santavala minus 21, Johnny minus 22, and Jason Albert minus 28 as things stand now. But as we come to complete lap number 27, it's time for Palm Summerly crank it up for the final time here in 2024. It is lap number 36, a 60 here in the PSL finale for 2024. And as you can see, both Jordan Forbes in the 61 and Bubble Pop, drivers who came to this race second and first in the points, are both inside this top 10, while Alexander Val in the 99, who of course came to this race in the three-way tie for fourth, is also inside the top 3. And as for the other 2 drivers tied for fourth, Roberto and Anthony Hernandez are both inside this top 15. Riley Spur not too far behind them, currently in 16th. Now let's take a look at the points as they currently run. Jordan Forbes still leads, with Bubble behind by 3, Santa Val behind by 15. And Riley's, whoa! Madison Chase and Bubble go around in the back straightaway. And the championship leader going into this race goes spinning in the sand trap before tapping the inside wall. Oh my goodness, our first caution of the night here in Minnesota. It's going to cause definitely some potentially big point implications for one of your heavy favorites to win the championship here tonight. But unfortunately for Bubble, it is going to cause some damage in the point standings, as right now she's 14 back from Forbes, while Sandoval's behind by 17. So I think we got a stack up here towards the back of the field. Oh, we do. We got some cars with damage. I think Ryan Wilson, Jordan Stout, Kyler Sustry, I think some others have some damage. Oh yeah, look at Jordan Stout's car and Kyler Sustry. Heavy front-end damage, as well as Ross McChain as well, your pole hitter. Wow, look, you definitely are going to look at a replay of both the Bubble and Madison spin, as well as that a little bit later. But for now, everyone's coming down pit road just before lap number 40. Santa Val is in, Roberto Crown Jr. is in. See, Jack Cost, I think, has some damage as well in the 57, as the 2 leaders that time by Patrick Miller and Jordan Forbes are in the pit stalls. As it looks like everyone's going to do a full mule service of 4 tires and gas to last the rest of this race, as even if we do have multiple green light checkered attempts, everyone should have enough to make it. So here we go, your leaders are done with their pit stops, as Patrick Miller is going to easily bring the race off pit road to maintain the lead, as Jordan Forbes maintains second, while Matthew Burnett is now up to third in the 2 car. But anyways, let's take a look at the instant replays for both the Bubble and Madison Chase spin in the back straightaway, as well as the stack up that caused multiple drivers, including Jordan Stout, to have major front end damage. So auto started going through turns 1 and 2 on lap number 37. The 3 cars to watch on your screen is the pink and black car of Madison Chase, as well as the 2 cars on the outside, that being of course Bubble and the 57 of Jack Haas. So through turns 1 and 2, looks like Haas was looking to the inside of Bubble off of 2, but instead it looks like Bubble either came down or Haas just turned into the 18. Is it both the 06 and 18 spinning, with Bubble going to spinning through the sand trap, and White would tap the inside wall before making additional contact with Madison just after the fact. Look at this from another angle here. Yeah, look, when Haas got into the 18, the subsequently caused Madison to get turned as well, as Bubble came down on her. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's just evolve into someone else's mess. Let's go on board with Jack Cost in the 57. Looks like definite contact, but not that much. I think Bubble maybe came down a little bit on the 57. But I'm going to see from her point of view on what happened. Yeah, I think it was just a mix of both Bubble coming down just a little bit to try to block Haas. But by that point, Haas was already on her. And just, again, barely made contact with the 18. But it was still enough to spin her out into the sand trap. And finally, let's take a look at that stack up. At this point here, the caution's already been out. Everyone's trying to get on pit road. Looks like maybe the 59 of Rose or Baker, one of those 2, slowed down, got into each other. Then everyone else from behind, like Ryan Wilson, Sustry, Stout, and McTrain had nowhere to go. Take this again. Actually, no, it actually started up front. Skylar Taylor, I think, was the first that slowed down, and Santa Val again into the back of the 29. It was just a massive chain reaction, with probably Stout, Sustry, and McTrain getting the absolute worst of that. But anyways, we're under caution here at Minnesota for the summer finale. We'll be right back with you guys after this. Welcome back to the 2024 summer finale here at Minnesota Motorsports Park. We're about to go back green after the 57 of Jack Haas got into one of the championship favorites of Bubble Pop in the 18, sending both her and Madison Chase spinning in the back straightaway. Both drivers getting rather minor damage, but under caution, other drivers were involved in a pretty sizable stack up of Jordan Stout, Kyler Sustry, and Ross McTrain getting the absolute worst of it. And as things currently stand now, both Stout and Sustry are out of this race, while Matthew Hill is 1 lap down after also getting damage from that aforementioned stack up and doing lengthy repairs. And as you can see on the left side of your screen, the current point standings for this Palm Summer League Championship. Jordan Forbes still leads with 220 points. He's currently running second to 61. Bubble Pop, who of course was involved in the last caution, is now behind by 14 points. Santavala and Spurley are tied, both behind by 17 points. Roberto Crown behind by 24 points. Johnny Hernandez behind by 32. And Patrick Miller, who's currently the race leader, is behind by 35. But now we're back into green here in Minnesota. A great restart for Jordan Forbes on the outside going into turns 1 and 2, but Patrick Miller is going to quickly respond as he gets a strong run in the middle as those two are going to be side by side for the lead off turn number 2. Survey side by side. Oh, Bernard Taylor made contact. They both go in the wall in front of the entire field. It's going to be a huge wreck. But with Hernandez, Stapleton, Yellow, Baker, it's going to cause another caution already here in Minnesota. And there you can see the heavy damage to both Matthew Burnett and Skylar Taylor's car, as well as potentially Brendan Field, the defending PSO champion. And he's down pit road. Kellen Baker was involved in that. Nathan Stapleton. And there's the heavy front end damage on Anthony Hernandez. And of course, Anthony came to this race tied for 4th in points by 18. But that damage is more than likely going to end any chances of the former Golf Summer Series champion winning a second channel championship here tonight. But now let's look at the points as things stand. Forbes still leads the points as he's still currently in second, the 61. And there you see Anthony Hernandez. He's actually currently tied with Roberto Crown Jr. behind by 26. But I guarantee you, the 88 car is going to fall even further and further down the rankings before tonight's over with. But anyways, let's take a look at the instant replay to see what cars are second and much bigger caution here tonight in Minnesota. So this happened just after the restart. The two drivers that really watched for on your screen is the 29 of Skylar Taylor and the 2 of Matthew Burnett as they come off turn number 2. So Taylor moves down the racetrack, Burnett maintains the middle, but then in the 3, Taylor comes up while Burnett comes down. Both of them making contact and sending each other into the wall in front of the entire field where a lot of these drivers had absolutely nowhere to go. A lot of big name drivers, but I think probably the biggest out of all of them was Anthony Hernandez, but let's go on board with Matthew Burnett here to see his point of view. So Burnett maintains the middle, but then comes down, but then they realize Taylor is there. Instead, takes a nasty lick into the outside wall. Thank God for those safer barriers, as Burnett's night's likely going to come to an end. Let's go on board with Skylar Taylor. Yeah, again, Taylor had a run on the inside, tried to move up, but instead made contact with Burnett, and the rest just all unfolded from there. Now let's go on board with Anthony Hernandez. Yeah, Anthony moving on the outside lane, there's not much he could have done, but then once Staple got into Burnett, it was pretty much all over for one of the heavy favorites here tonight to win the championship. Let's go on board with Brady Carruthers. So Carruthers was towards the back when all this unfolded. Will he miss it? For the most part, yes. Great job there for the channel veteran to minimize any damage there. Now let's take a look at this in slow motion. So again, going into turn number 3, Taylor was trying to move up the track, while Burnett was trying to move down the track simultaneously at the same time. Instead, both of them make contacts as both of them spitting into the wall. Both of them taking pretty nasty licks into the outside wall. Again, thank God for those safer barriers, I should say. With Burnett now face forward right in front of Nathan Stapleton, and at that point, it's just on from there. So many big-name drivers being involved in this, like, of course, Anthony Hernandez, the 01 of Daniel Voiles, who was up front earlier, getting damage. I think Joe T in the 8 car barely avoided. Kellen Baker getting damage. Alex Mullen, Ross McTrain. So definitely a lot of big-name drivers, and, of course, a championship contender all taken out in this pretty sizable wreck here in Minnesota, as we're under caution once again here in the summer finale. Welcome back to the T-Mobile Summer Finale here in 2024. We're about to go back green after a massive wreck through turns 3 and 4 that was caused by Matthew Burnett and Skylar Taylor making contact into turn number 3. And some of those drivers who unfortunately are done for the night because of that wreck include Ross McTrain in the 45, the 29 of Skylar Taylor and Matthew Burnett, as previously mentioned, the 97 of Nathan Stapleton, as well as championship contender Anthony Hernandez in the 88. He was currently scored 26 back from the points leader of Jordan Forbes as of right now, but again, that's, like I said before the break, his position in points is almost guaranteed to drop even further as the rest of this race goes on. Anyways, as for your current top 3, Patrick Miller, 33, is still first, followed by Jordan Forbes, who was the points leader just now on the graphic you saw on the left, as well as fellow championship contender Alex Santavala in the 99, as we're back under green here in Minnesota. Once again, another great restart for Junior Forbes on the outside, but will Patrick Miller respond quickly to turns 1 and 2? Looks like both Miller and Sandoval get strong runs off turn number 2 as we're once again 3 wide for the lead. Jack Haas is right on the heels of both these three drivers as Miller and Forbes get forced up to the outside, with Sandoval once again going back to the lead off turn number 4. So Lipsy there briefly was 3 wide, 4 wide of Bubble Pop towards the back of the pack. Of course, Bubble was involved in the spin earlier in this race back at lap number 37 and is trying to climb her way back up to the field to contend for this championship. It was on board with Lipsy off turn number 2. Of course, Lipsy has won at Minnesota before back in 2022 in the former Golf Summer Series and is trying to chase down the rookie who's not only trying to win the championship as well, but also the Rookie of the Year as he looks to get inside of Sandoval off turn number 4 and coming to lap number 49. And speaking of championship, there you see both Roberto Crown and Riley Spurley making their first appearances inside the top 5 here tonight. With Crown getting a stronger into the 2, trying to chase down Sandoval, who at the moment is being pressured by Miller down the back straightaway. And into turn number 3 is Crown's now 3 wide for second. In addition as well, Johnny Hernandez, who also came this race inside the top 10 in points, is back inside the top 10 as well, also trying to pressure 99 and 31 as well. But here's Crown now side by side of Lipsy into turn number 1. Patrick Miller also as well trying to pressure Crown, almost making it 3 wide off turn number 2 there. But instead, holds the outside lane at bay. You look at the points right now. Jordan Forbes and Riley Spurley are currently tied. Currently Forbes has the tiebreaker due to his Firecracker 400 win. Meanwhile, Bubble's just 2 back, Crown's just 4 back, while Sandoval is 5 back, but that might change here. Coming to lap number 51. Oh, Bubble gets turned in the wall. Look, Joe T up in the air in the 8 car. Oh my goodness. Keyshawn Richardson, Kellen Baker, and I think Phil Torres again involved in this massive, massive wreck as there's heavy, heavy smoke from the upside down car of Joe T. And there you see the heavy rear end damage to Bubble's car because this is the second time she's been involved in a wreck here tonight. But this one is obviously much, much more severe, and she's already losing ground in the point standings. Now 6 points, a moment ago, she was just 2 points back from the leader, but now she's 6 back, and depending how bad that damage is, she might just lose even more points. You know, that top by Roberto Crown is not only the race leader, but also is right now the championship leader as he's currently leading Jordan Forbes by 2 points, Riley Spurley by 4 points. I've already mentioned Bubble now behind by 6, Sandoval behind by 8, Johnny Hernandez behind by 16, and Patrick Miller behind by 31. So much like our first 2 cautions earlier in this race, this 3rd caution here tonight is surely going to once again shake up the championship picture as we're going to take a look at the instant replay and see what caused this caution. So just like our first 2 cautions earlier here tonight, this started going into the corner, this time through turns 3 and 4. The drivers to watch for on these screens, of course, Bubble, Joe T, Keyshawn Richardson, as well as Dan Mattiello. So Bubble gets forced to the outside by Joe T, and then Keyshawn Richardson forces Joe T right next to Bubble, and Mattiello gets a run, making it 4 wide. And it's just not enough room for those 4 drivers to make 4 wide work. Bubble getting sent into the sand trap and then back in front of the field, in front of Kellen Baker, with Keyshawn Richardson, I believe, being the one that flipped over Joe T. And looking at this from another angle, again, there's just not enough room for those 4 drivers to go 4 wide there. Yeah, a combination of Ryan and Richardson sending Joe T up in the air. Heavy, heavy smoke coming out of his car. And now it's gone board with Bubble in the 18 to see her point of view. And she was probably in the worst possible place to be in this type of wreck. She was on the outside lane. Not much she could have done except for hang on. Oh my god, Bubble went briefly airborne. And it looked like Bubble had it mostly missed, but then she hit that inside wall that sent her spinning back onto the racetrack and caused all of that, and subsequently caused all of that damage. Let's go on board with Keyshawn Richardson. Richardson had a strong run on the inside, but again, 4 wide, which is not going to work at that part of the racetrack. And oh man, Joe T went flying right in front of him. And just like with Joe T, there was heavy, heavy smoke coming out of the front end at 24. And finally on board with Dan Mattiello. So it looks like Mattiello mostly kept it straight. Definitely got the least amount of damage out of those 4 drivers that went 4 wide. But still definitely got some damage nevertheless. Anyways, back under caution yet again here in Minnesota as we'll be right back for potentially the final restart here this summer. Welcome back to the T-Mobile Summer Finale here for the Minnesota Motorsports Park. We're about to ride green after yet another caution. This time it happened towards the front straightaway after an instance of 4 wide off turn 4 went incredibly wrong. And some of the most notable drivers involved in that was Joe T in the 8 car who went sliding on his roof, hood first, as well as championship contender Bubble Pop in the 18. And speaking of the championship, there you see the points currently as things stand right now on the left side of your screen. The race leader is also the current championship leader, that being of course Roberto Crown Jr. or Jordan Forbes is -2, Bubble Pop -3, Riley Spurley -4, Santa Vala -8, Johnny Hernandez -16, and Matthew Hill, who's currently lapped down, is -33. And there you can see the damage on Bubble's car from that wreck. She's actually right behind Jordan Forbes, so there's even with that damage, there is still a chance Bubble could take this championship. And she not only has to hope that she has enough time to get around the 61, but also has a car that can at least keep up with everyone else here in this field. But anyways, as I mentioned, Roberto Crown is the leader, followed by Johnny Hernandez, and Lipsy the 9 cars. We're back in the green for potentially the final restart here tonight. Great restart for Johnny Hernandez, but much like the last 2 restarts, the inside is going to cook and respond, with Crown getting a strong run into turn number 2 as well as Lipsy. And just like our last restart, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead down the back straightaway, with Crown in the middle and Lipsy on the inside as we go into turn number 3. Both Johnny and Crown go high through turns 3 and 4, with the 46 losing ground. So once again 4 wide off turn number 4. Looks like this time around we're able to make it stick as we come to 4 laps to go this time by. And take a look at some of their championship contenders. Riley Spurley trying desperately to make up ground into 28 as Jordan Forbes has seemingly struggled since his last restart as Bubble is not too far back. But once again, moving back up front, looks like they settled out this 4 wide with Lipsy in the 9 car. Now your new leader with Gutierrez second, Nick Stant side by side of Madison Chase for third. 3 laps to go this time by. Nick Stant still side by side of Madison through turns 1 and 2 of Crown trying to peek his nose to the inside of Madison, nearly making a 3 wide. Looks like he will be 3 wide of Brittany Carruthers off turn number 2 as he's now stuck in the middle. And here's Nick Stant once again, fast approaching through the field. He's now going to be side by side of Angel for second, bringing Carruthers alongside with him. 2 laps to go this time by. And just behind the top 4, there's Dylan Matthews going 3 wide on her own teammate of Daniel Royals as well as Madison Chase. Roberto Crown continuing to fall back into 31. But now off 2, here's Nick Stant side by side of Lipsy for the lead down the back, as Carruthers will also be side by side of Gutierrez into turns 3 and 4, as Nick Stant will clear Lipsy for the lead, as this time by you can see the white flag. Only 1 lap to go here in Minnesota. Brittany Carruthers trying to build up a run through turns 1 and 2, trying to ground Lipsy for second. But to come down the back straightaway, I don't think he's having enough time as Nick Stant continues to pull away from the rest of the field. Looks like through turns 3 and 4 with Carruthers and Matthews go around Lipsy. Now Matthews side by side with Carruthers. But it's not going to matter as coming to the checkered flag is Nick Stant, who wins here tonight in Minnesota. And even though I don't really mention Nick Stant much at all here tonight, his car came to life at the best possible time. So definitely a big congratulations to Nick Stant and the rest of that 40 team for winning here tonight. But as for the main headline here tonight, Jordan Forbes is your 2024 Palm Summer League champion. And take a look on the left side of your screen, Jordan Forbes wins the championship by just a single point over Riley Spurley, 3 points over Bubble, 11 points over Crown, 12 points over Santa Vala, 20 points over Johnny Hernandez, and 22 points over race winner Nick Stant. So obviously a big congratulations to Jordan Forbes and the first-year team of Beacon Mopar Racing for winning the PSL championship here in 2024. And as for Rookie of the Year, even though he lost the championship by a single point, it's still going to be a night to remember for Riley Spurley as he's your 2024 Palm Summer League Rookie of the Year. So after big congratulations to Riley Spurley and the rest of his team here tonight. Now we had a bit of an incident just after the checkered flag on the cooldown lap. Take a look at Alex Moan in the 1 car in the center of your screen. Looks like maybe Patrick Miller slowed down, and here comes Bubble ramming into the back of the 1 car and causing a stack up that was pretty similar to the one back at lap number 39 just after our first caution. So probably definitely some frustration for Bubble, who came oh so close to win the championship here this summer. Now, of course, tonight's going to be a night to remember for 2 drivers, starting with Nick Stant and RC Motorsports, as they're your winners here for the 2024 T-Mobile Summer Finale. This is Nick Stant's 2nd career Palm Summer League win, as well as his 5th overall here in the channel. And of course, there's this year's champion, Jordan Forbes in the 61, with his first ever channel championship, with 1 win at the Firecracker 400, 1 top 5, and 3 top 10s. Anyways, for one last time this year, let's take a look at the finishing results and final point standings for the 2024 Palm Summer League. So here we go. Of course, Nick Sant wins the 2024 T-Mobile Summer Finale. As previously mentioned, this is Nick Sant's second career Palm Summer League win, as well as his 5th overall win on the channel. And that 5th win puts him in a very much elite company here in channel history, as he joins Dan Mattiello and Matthew Burnett as the only 3 drivers in channel history to win 5 races across all the different series. You know, Dylan Matthews at our hometown track comes up just short, finishing 2nd, while Bernie Carruthers in 3rd is going to finish off the year with 3 top 5 finishes and becomes the only other driver to do that this year besides Roberto Crown Jr. in the 31. Meanwhile, Jose Angel Gutierrez, the winner from the opening race this year at Tennessee, will finish 4th, while Jason Albert rounds off the top 5, finishing 5th. Meanwhile, the L1 of Daniel Voiles, who finishes 6th, is going to join his teammate and car owner, Dylan Matthews, as both the DM Motorsport drivers get top 10 finishes at their home race, so definitely a very solid performance for the hometown team here tonight. Meanwhile, the 9 of Lipsy, who is in the lead with only 2 laps to go, is going to be relegated to 7th, while Johnny Hernandez in 8th and Riley Spurley in 9th will be the only 2 drivers this summer to achieve 4 top 10 finishes. And speaking of Riley Spurley, of course, lost the championship by just a single point over Jordan Forbes. All Spurley needed to do was just to finish 7th, but unfortunately, he just didn't have enough time to catch back up with the leaders by the end of the race. It is Madison Chase in the L6, who of course was involved during our first caution of the night alongside Bubble Pop in the 18, as both those 2 went spinning down the back straightaway on the sand trap. But unlike Bubble, who was involved in another caution late in the race, Madison was able to avoid all the carnage and come home with a very solid 10th place finish. And as for 11th through 20th, there's Roberto Crown Jr., who also comes up just short of the championship. And if you remember as well, Crown was the championship leader going into our final restart. But when that green flag dropped, Crown continued to get forced up high on the racetrack and was just never really able to recover. And in addition as well, Crown's 11th place finish is going to make him come up just short of joining both Johnny and Spurley of having 4 top 10 finishes, and also as well, this will end Crown's 3 straight race streak of getting top 5 finishes as well. And speaking of the championship, they see Alex Sandoval finishing just behind Roberto Crown in 12th. And it took a while for Sandoval to get up to the field, but it looked like he had a very strong car. But by the end of the race, he just lost ground and was never really able to recover. Finishing 13th is Dan Mattiello, who of course was involved in our last caution, got some minor damage during that wreck with Bubble, Richardson, and Joe T. But the damage wasn't too significant to impact the rest of his race and finishes 13th, so definitely not too bad of a rebound for the channel vet. And 14th is Patrick Miller, who actually got the bonus points for leading the most laps here tonight. Miller was the leader during our first and second cautions of the night. But after that second restart, Miller fell back and was never really able to recover. And speaking of those restarts, whenever Patrick Miller was first, Jordan Forbes was usually right next to him in second. And just like Miller, Forbes fell back after that second restart, was never really able to recover. Fortunately for Forbes, it was a 16th place finish was still enough to win the championship over Spurley by, again, just a single point. And finally, there you see Bubble Pop at 18, who of course also comes up just short of winning the championship. But despite losing out on both the championship and the Rookie of the Year, it's still been a very impressive and successful season for the driver of the 18. And there's the 21st through 30th. There's the last year's PSL champion, Brendan Beal, who did get damaged during our second caution of the night. Of course, the one that involved Burnett and Taylor. Had to do some repairs, ended up getting stuck 1 lap down. Well, Matthew Hill also had to do repairs to his car after our first caution that was caused by stack up shortly after the yellow flag was thrown. And that's for 23rd on down, starting with Bradley Ream. All of these drivers wrecked out of the race. A lot of big names here. Baker, Joe T, Ryan, Richardson, the pole sitter McTrain, Skylar Taylor, Matthew Burnett, Anthony Hernandez, who of course was in contention for the championship, but unfortunately for the second year in a row, ended up getting involved in a wreck that ended any of his hopes of winning the second channel championship. Jordan Stout, 34th, and Kyler Sustry getting his second last place finish this year after finishing last during the Firecracker 400. Ironically, his teammate Jordan Forbes was the winner of that race. And now for the final top 10 point standings here in the 2024 Palm Summer League. Of course, Jordan Forbes wins the championship with 206 points. And one thing that I've really failed to mention is his race team, Beacon Mopar Racing. As in just their first ever series, they're already champions here in the PSL. So definitely big congratulations to Team Motor Kyle Sustry for already getting their first ever championship here in the series. Definitely a big deal that they got someone of Jordan Forbes who has plenty of experience, and not only in the former Golf Summer Series, but also in the PSL as well, after winning, of course, last year's season opener. And just their first year, Forbes put that veteran experience to test, not only winning the Firecracker 400 in the closest finish in channel history, but also won the championship and one of the closest points margins when it comes to a channel championship, as of course Riley Spurley lost out on the championship by just a single point. And just like I mentioned earlier, if Spurley finished in 7th place, just 2 positions above where he finished tonight in 9th, we would have had a different champion. So just so close for Riley Spurley, but of course he did win Rookie of the Year. So this season is still one to celebrate for Riley Spurley and NS Racing as they look forward towards the future. Meanwhile, behind by 3 is Bubble Pop, who surprisingly kept a single-digit points margin despite having a really damaged race car by the end of the race. And even though Bubble tried just about everything she could to keep up with the rest of the field, unfortunately her car was just too damaged to keep up with everyone else, and ultimately lost her not only the championship but also Rookie of the Year as well. And this also marks just the second time this year Bubble has not been the points lead this summer, besides the opening race at Tennessee, as from race 2 to race 5, Bubble was the points leader, but unfortunately wasn't enough to maintain it for one more time here tonight. And 4th is Roberto Crown Jr., minus 11, of course, as I mentioned, was in the championship lead coming to our final restart, but just fell back, lost a lot of ground in the outside lane, and just like in the race itself, Santaval is going to finish 5th in points, just behind Roberto Crown, minus 12. Finishing 6th is Johnny Hernandez, and what an impressive rebound for that 46 team here this summer. I mentioned this when he won the last race at Paris. At one point this summer, back in race number 2, Johnny was as low as 34th in points. But starting with race number 3 at the Meadowlands, they kept getting good finishes, they kept going and going, got that win at Paris, had another solid run here tonight. And Johnny's going to come home with a very solid and very honorable 6th place finish despite everything that team went to this summer. The same could also be said for Nick Sant, the 40, who finishes 7th in points. And even though Nick Sant wasn't really much of a championship contender this summer, but tonight's win was definitely a big confidence booster for that team. If the Palm Summer League does indeed come back for 2025, Nick Sant and RC Motorsports know that he is still capable of contending for a championship, as besides Jordan Forbes, Nick Sant's the only other driver to win in both PSL seasons so far. Meanwhile, Dylan Matthews finishes 8th in points, definitely a big improvement over last year's 31st place finish in last year's PSL. Jason Albert finishes 9th, also a big improvement for him as well, after finishing 26th during last year's PSL season. And finally, to round off the rest of the top 10 is Matthew Hill in the 90, despite finishing one lap down here tonight, is still going to establish a top 10 points finish behind by 30. And that would do it for this summer's edition of the Palm Summer League. Of course, a huge thank you to everyone who has supported the Palm Summer League in some form this summer. Everyone from our previous interviewees, our server admins, painters, drivers, team owners, short viewers, and of course you, the viewers, for continuing to watch these increasingly time-consuming races for me to make, no matter when, where, or whatever delay comes up. Of course, I have to give yet another thanks to the entire NR community for supporting this game and providing the necessary but also free-to-use tools and assets, such as all of the tracks, cars, mods, and other resources that I use to make these races for everyone to enjoy. And in terms of my NR plans in the future, well, the hope was to bring both the Palm Summer League back for another go-around next year, as well as to return to the Triple Winter Challenge later this year during the holidays. But like everything, life happens, meaning that these things and plans are always subject to change. I've also said this before, but there's going to be a certain point in the near future that I won't be able to do NR series anymore, either by choice and or circumstances. And I have a gut feeling that my last dance is coming sooner and sooner as time flies and his life quickly changes. But for now, once again, send a big congratulations to Nick Sant for winning the race here tonight, Riley Spurley for winning an exciting Rookie of the Year battle, and of course, a big congratulations to Jordan Forbes for winning the Palm Summer League Championship here in 2024. And for one last time this summer, this is Josh signing out from Minnesota.